Stories of Great Christians. From the Department of Broadcasting of the Moody Bible Institute, we're bringing you Chapter 5 of God's Ebony Scientist, the story of George Washington Carver. What did you think, Professor Carver, when Mr. Martin discovered you in his barn?
Oh, I deserved a beating, and I figured that's what I'd get. A colored boy, 10 years old, sleeping a whole winter in a white man's barn. I knew what I'd get.
But Mr. Martin was a kind man.
Yes. He fed me fresh milk and homemade bread that night. Then he asked me to live with him and Mrs. Martin.
So, in return for cooking and washing, you got board and room and a chance to keep on going to school in Neosho.
Yes, things went fine until Mrs. Martin took sick.
You had to be a nurse, too?
Yes, I had to leave school to take care of her. And after that, Mr. Martin lost his job.
You felt pretty terrible when they told you they had to move to California.
Oh, I felt sick. They couldn't take me along.
Tell me exactly what happened the morning their wagon pulled out.
I stood there, scratching the dirt with my toe. The Martins said the white folks in town would keep an eye on me. Then Aunt Maria came along. She said white folks meant well, but it was high time my own looked after me.
She asked you to live with her?
Yes, and the whole year I stayed there.
Andy, if you can lay that ball to one side for just one evening, George is going to read to us.
Mariah, you know, if you didn't fry up chicken so good, I would never let you get away with nagging at me.
Oh, hush up. George is waiting to read for our edifying.
And if I didn't like George to read so well, I would never put the bottle to one side. But there she is.
George, you got enough candlelight?
Uh-huh.
Then read, boy.
The heavens declare the glory of God. The firmament shows his handiwork. Day unto day uttereth speech, and night unto
Reads
night.
like an angel, he does.
Hush up.
Night unto night showeth knowledge. There's no speech, no language where their voice is not heard. The line is gone out through all the earth, and the words
Good
are
as a preacher he is.
to the ends of the world. In them hath he set a tabernacle for the sun.
That all, George?
Uh-huh. For now, I guess.
You do read like an angel.
Does my old Presbyterian heart good to hear.
Your old whiskey-soaked Presbyterian heart.
You reads with spirit, George. Say, maybe he's going to be a preacher.
Oh, no, sir.
Shame on ya. Nothing higher than the calling of a preacher.
How you know? You don't set foot inside a church more than 2 or 3 times a year.
But I always tell George he ought to go. Now, don't I, George?
Uh-huh. Yes, sir.
I reckon we ain't got no call to be fussing over the boy. George,
Yes, ma'am?
whatever it is, I know you're gonna be something great. I know it.
A teacher, maybe.
A teacher?
You listen to me, George. You put your trust in God, and he will lead you. If you is meant to be a teacher, you'll be it.
Teachers has to know a lot.
I know that.
Teachers can't do no teaching just by knowing how to whittle, boy.
Leave the boy alone. You put that bottle back. George, never you fear. The Lord will lead.
What Uncle Andy says is right. I know that for a fact. That's what's troubling me.
Speak up, boy.
Well, you've been kind to me, but I like the school in Neosho.
Go on, boy.
But I gotta learn, and I want to. Mr. Stephen Frost, he
has emptied his brain right out on your lap, and you got all you can get from him.
I guess so.
Well, George, what are you trying to say?
I gotta find me another school.
What do you aim to do? Walk out on the old show and the school and your Aunt Mariah and your Uncle Andy?
Well, ma'am, I know there's a school up in Fort Scott way.
We'll miss you, George.
Oh, don't sound so mournful, Mariah. You encouraged him.
How you figure that?
Put your trust in the Lord. You said he'll lead the way. That's how the Lord is leading George away from Menosha to a better school.
Oh, Susanna, don't cry for me. I'll come to
Why, it's George Washington Carver.
Oh, hello there.
Hey, you're heading the wrong way, son. You're so back that way in the dust.
I'm heading out of Neosho.
Yeah? Where to?
Fort Scott.
Fort Scott is 40 miles away.
I take 1 mile at a time, sir. The birds keep me company.
You is lucky. Hop up, son. This here wagon is heading up Fort Scott way also. Get up there. Get up. Get up.
This here the Wilder House?
This here's the kitchen of the Wilder House. We don't give no scraps to beggars.
I'm no beggar.
What are you?
I'm looking for work, sir.
Same thing.
I'm a washerwoman.
Hey, Mike, here's the queerest looking washerwoman this side of the Rockies.
You give me a tub and some soap and I'll show you.
Tub and soap, huh? Don't need no water.
Clean this place up.
Come to think of it, upstairs I got a drawer full of dirty shirts. You guys, too. You know how to wash, son. Honest now?
Sure.
Listen, out behind the hotel there's a shed. It's going to waste. Now, here's what you can do.
Time for history class. Spelling books away. Class, yesterday, we were up to the B's. Now the C's. Carver. George Washington Carver? George, where are you? George?
He's here, Miss Hanson. I slumped down in the chair, hiding.
George, if laundering tires you so that you can't sit up...
I'm sitting up, Miss Hanson. See?
That's better. George, now you give me the dates of the signing of the Declaration of Independence.
Well,
walk front and face the class. Here, stand by my desk.
Yes, ma'am. Dates of the Declaration of Independence. Miss Hanson, did you see that?
What?
They're playing on your desk. I was just going to answer when I saw it.
Saw what?
The littlest bug.
Oh, where?
Oh, see? There it is. He's hiding under these leaves. Right there. Strange little critter. He shouldn't be here at all. He belongs in the deep woods under moss.
Well, how do you know?
I know this bug, Miss Hanson. Or his brothers. See, he has red wings.
Oh, so he does.
And if he stays cooped up here, he'll die for sure.
He will.
Oh, it's very unusual. He shouldn't die.
Well, what can we do?
Well, take him back where he belongs.
How?
Oh, I'll do it. I know where he lives. Want me to, Miss Hanson?
Why, oh, yes, George. I think that would be very nice. Yes, very thoughtful. Yes, you go right ahead.
Don't be scared, little fella. You're going home.
Now, back to your seats, class. Back now. Now, that was a little lesson in nature study.
Miss Hanson, George walked right out of the room.
But he's taking care of the little red-winged bug. Now, class, we can learn a lesson in kindness.
Miss Hanson, George never answered his question.
Oh, dear. So he didn't. Oh, well, George, you come back. George. Oh, dear. Now, children, across our country, there is a state called California. We are going to study it today. California is a place of mountains and hills and
Mountains and hills. I remember mountains and hills. I saw them once. Lift up your eyes unto the hills. That's what the Bible says. I saw them. Not here, not Kansas, but somewhere. And they look like... Oh, where's my pencil? I wonder if I remember what they look like.
George Washington Carver. George Washington Carver. George Washington Carver.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
What do you have there?
Here?
There, that paper.
No, nothing, ma'am.
Bring me that paper. George, these are hills?
Yes, ma'am.
Where did you see these hills, George?
I'm not sure. The Ozarks.
Oh, yes? You lived there?
A long time ago.
George, this is a good drawing.
And so, Professor Carver, Miss Hanson kept on encouraging your drawings.
Yes, she even gave me a box of watercolors at Christmas.
So life in Fort Scott got better and better. More clothes to wash and a whole world of things to learn in school. Arithmetic, geography, history, and...
None of which I was good at. But don't forget my drawing.
No one can. Now then, after 3 years, you thought you belonged to Fort Scott.
Does a 13-year-old boy belong to any one place? Yes, maybe I thought I did. That is, until one night, after work, I walked down to the square, handful of change in my pocket, and
Hey, mister, what's going on here? Something wrong? Hey, mister,
Yes, Sonny?
what's the crowd for?
Oh, plenty of excitement in Fort Scott tonight. See that bonfire over there? Well, boy, you know what that's for. They're burning a black man tonight, yes, sir. They're gonna toast him good. Hey, what's the matter, boy? Hey, come here, boy. Why, your face is black too, ain't it?
And so we conclude Chapter 5 of God's Ebony Scientist, the story of George Washington Carver. Stories of Great Christians is produced by the Department of Broadcasting of the Moody Bible Institute in Chicago.